Who's funding the rebels? They have a lot of expensive equipment. Who is paying for all this stuff?
Well, who knows how the economy works in this galaxy far, far away? Because it's not just the rebels that are getting funded. If you look at what the Empire is building, you're talking about things that take a massive amount of resources. I guess you could argue that there's plenty of wealthy individuals that support the rebels.
Private enterprise.
Yeah.
Republicans, I guess, then. They take care of each other.
Well, maybe they're just drug dealers, or maybe the rebels are supported by planet states that collect taxes. Come on, God, this is such a square question.
I've never heard anyone ask that one before. How are these people paying for all these spaceships and space stations and remote bases? And as soon as something bad happens, they just split. Well, we better start the evacuation. And you should, but how do you afford to go to another place so easily and so quickly?
I know. And of all the galaxy, you chose a winter planet, you fools.
We're
Canadian. We know better.
I read that was Lucas wanting to challenge the effects department because hiding the matte lines in space was a lot easier because of black than it is when you do it with white.
Oh, what a dick. He just put his special effects team through hell.
But the stop motion of the Tauntauns and the visual effects with the winter speeder things they have, I didn't see any matte lines or anything like that. Maybe they improved them since the original releases.
I figured they would have won the special effects award for the abominable snowman. The man dressed in a white ape suit who hung Luke upside down.
That was not in the original cut, I heard. The thing wants to eat him later. Okay, fine. Maybe it dragged the Tauntaun back, although it doesn't seem to be dragging the Tauntaun back when it kills Luke. But why does it hang him upside down? And does it just hold him there for a while? His feet are freezing very slowly. I still have to hold him. He's still not frozen. What time is it? Okay, still gotta hold him.
He's a dumb beast. He thought to melt the ice and then freeze it again and then hold him still for what had to be, honestly, I don't care how cold it is out there. That takes like 20 to 30 minutes to freeze solid enough to hold him upside down like that.
What else does he have to do? He's just going to eat Luke when he gets the chance to, although the Tauntaun's got a lot more meat on him. He should have dragged the Tauntaun back and eaten him. All right, second reasonably good question. Did Obi-Wan never appear in a vision before Luke's near death on Hoth? So never once, you must go to the Dagobah system, when Luke was just sitting around in one of the camps.
Yeah, good point. Why does he choose the moment he's almost dead? He could have warned him at some point when he was perfectly healthy and could have hopped in a spaceship and gone there far easier.
When he has way more important things to do than fight with the rebels on this little planet. As important as that was, this guy's got bigger fish to fry. All right. What would have happened in the Dagobah cave had Luke not taken his lightsaber and his gun with him? Your weapons! You will not need them. But he takes them anyway.
Does
and
he
then,
really?
Of course, he meets the vision of Darth Vader, which when he cuts off the face, it's his own face. Dun, 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 which is a good lead into the famous twist ending. But had he not taken his weapons in when Yoda tells him not to, what would have happened? Would he have still seen Vader and he had to come up with some other way to beat him? Or would it just be nothing? Would he just walk around and, oh, there's a lot of snakes and lizards in here, and what a waste of time that was.
Isn't the whole thing just a hallucination anyway?
Well, of course, there's no actual Vader there.
That's why he could have hallucinated his weapons, I suppose.
But
That's
he
actually
does
what I
take
thought
them.
happened. I thought
No.
he left his weapons.
No, because Yoda says don't take them,
but
and you see him strapping them on anyway.
That's interesting because the whole point is that he should face his demons without hate and violence.
That's the point, of course, yeah. All right, another one. Is there artificial gravity in the Millennium Falcon with all the twisty moves Han Solo makes?
I know.
When they're on that worm thing in the middle of the rock in space, and then it moves, they shake, and then, of course, he catches Leia. Let me go! And they have that little fight. So, obviously, the Falcon can be shaken to the point where they do fall around. But when they're doing twisty moves in space, there's no seatbelts in there, so it doesn't have artificial gravity.
That's one special effect they hadn't begun to master. That is a tough special effect that adds a logistical nightmare to any production. Just ask Christopher Nolan.
All right, another one, and this has been asked by a lot of people long before me, but how did Vader beat Han and Leia, and Chewie and 3PO, to Bespin when Boba Fett was tracking them there? They arrived right before you did. But how?
Because Han doesn't have a hyperdrive. Boba Fett is following them. He knows their trajectory. They put it together where they're going, and then Vader with a hyperdrive beats them there. Okay. I think they cut out a scene where the whole gang spends 3 months in space traveling to Cloud City because that's the only explanation for how that is going on at the same time as Luke is training with Yoda.
That was the next question, because, again, it's been asked by other people long before I'm asking it now. But what is the timeline? Luke trains for how long exactly to become that close to being a Jedi, and Han and Leia and friends seems like they have a very short period of time before they end up where they do. So what makes sense there? But I do have a theory on this one.
All right.
Remember in Interstellar, they say that when you're on a planet, that the gravity's different and it makes people age more. And when those guys get back to the ship, their friend's still there. He's aged decades, and for them, it's only been a matter of hours. Maybe that's it. Gravity on Dagobah affected things differently than it did for Luke, although nobody looks older, so that doesn't really hold up with that. But maybe you could say it's just months rather than it be years or decades for them.
Sure. Okay.
My last reasonably good question, and again, this has been said by other people, but I will repeat it right now. Family Guy brought this up. Why did Lando raid Han's suitcase on the Falcon? Because at the end, he's wearing Han's clothes.
I didn't notice that. He's wearing Han's clothes?
Very similar, at least. It isn't exactly the same as Han's clothes, but very similar style. And at the end, when he's on the Falcon with Chewie and they're about to go off to Tatooine.
Maybe it's just what was in fashion at the time.
He's wearing nothing...
space robes.
But he's wearing nothing like that before. He's got that cape when he's on best buddy. He's tired of wearing a cape. No capes!
Who gets tired of wearing a cape? Not Darth Vader.
That's
no matter how silly he looks.
Anyway, that was it for my reasonably good questions.
Those were reasonably good.
I didn't say they were going to be actually good questions, just almost good questions.